I wanted to do a recording to discuss just some common preconceived notions and some common questions asked of me by, friends and family members. I just want to make a quick disclaimer on my basically my practices in the Toltec and Wiccan way. So worst case scenario will be something like, people will call or text or email me on to do a reading for them, and they're my friends and they'll expect me to do it for free. But they often think that I have some instant cure to everything, like their problems or whatever it is that they're asking me to do. But for me, that's not the case. Normally, how I go about this kind of a situation is that what I'll do is I'll ask questions like, what's going on with your life? What do you want to do in your life? What do you want to see change in your life? And where do you want to see your life going? Then I'll go ahead and take a moment to explain to you what either I'm intuitively sensing at the moment, but unlike other psychics who claim instant readings or whatever, I'd need an hour or two to do some meditation just to kind of clear my thought process and really sink in deeply into that person's extrasensory perception as well. It's like you're channeling your energy to kind of pick up their energy, via law of energy, just to figure out what needs to be done, or if I can help them, or if spells, cleansing rituals would benefit them, and if they are even a good candidate to make the changes in their life, because that's very important. If sometimes I would work with people and even some friends who are just not willing to make that change in their life, and they end up wasting so much of my time. And then there's also the problems that I come across is that where my way and my teaching or my path to this spiritual knowledge and wisdom, I really worked really hard to get where I am consciously and also intuitively, because most common people think that Wicca, witchcraft, seer, basically native healing and stuff like that is all hocus pocus, just what you see in a movie, that it's all movie magic. But and they assume that she must be she's gotta have a magic wand, and then whole Harry Potter scenario thing, and supposedly I can just manifest things out of nowhere, voila, poof, whatever their problems, whatever they want, it's instant resolution with the whip of a wand. But in reality, real psychic readers, people who actually really do heal, who follow the Wiccan or the Toltec way, they'll tell you that it is not like that. It's absolutely not. So remember, that type of stuff is Hollywood. So in reality, for example, it took me I think all of my life to try to figure myself out and life in the way of things. So I had to really I had to go out of myself and back into myself to figure out answers. But it's me doing self-work and me willing to change and me willing to go far beyond what people could accept. So it's really a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of change for people to see the actual changes in their life. And I could vouch for that too, because I made changes in my life, perception-wise, and the way that I live my lifestyle and everything. Quitting cigarettes was a big change in my life. And the fact that I have, basically I have realized that, cigarettes was not beneficial to me in my health or spiritual growth. So it's been about a year since I've stopped, and I've seen dramatic change on all fronts, basically. So some common questions that people ask me is like, how does like spells, or basically just straight up witchcraft, how do they work, and what does it exactly do? So, what seers, sages, Wiccans, Toltecs, what they do is called witchcraft. So, and there's a lot of like herbs, oils, candles, crystals, just energy work that's involved. But that energy work takes a lot of time, because nothing is done overnight. And if you expect things to be done overnight, it is not gonna happen, because in everything, time, energy, it takes work, hard work, from the healer, and also the person who is receiving it needs to do work too, because the hard work is done with that person, and the hard work could be like whatever that they're trying to go through, or shift through, whether it is like negative energy or a problem or something that they want to change in their life. They need to go through that. Besides, they got to go through counseling, therapy, and also do like self-work too. There's outside work, and there's also inside work, inner work, like self-reflection, and then also tweaking some things in life and their energy as well, because to be able to make the change, you have to make some changes within yourself as well. You can't really expect the healer to do that for you, because the healer is not you. The healer or the reader or the person that's guiding you can only give you the resources and tools. It's not their power to, in your mind, have the preconceived notion of waving a magic wand and instantly everything is solved. That don't work that way. So it's very similar to the law of attraction, which is also something that psychics, sages, and gurus, seers, and healers understand, which is also metaphysics and alchemy. So it's very similar to law of attraction. It's basically what you think and how you feel is also what you're projecting out, is also what other people are mirroring you to. So it's important that when you reflect and you look into yourself, whatever that you're projecting out, you'll get that energy back, So that's basically the law of attraction and how witchcraft works. And also, it's like when Wiccans talk about the threefold law, they're talking about karma. What you do unto others will undo unto you. And if someone like me is following that way, we have to take that seriously and abide by that law. Once again, goes back to the law of attraction. The second question that a lot of people ask me too is like, how does the process usually take? This could be the healing process or whatever it is that they're going through when they come to me for guidance, whatever. So for me, in my experience, it's easy to blame the healer if things don't go your way. Well, guess what? Process and how the person's how the result and whether they heal or not, it depends on that person, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So for some people it can take as fast as 30 days or as long as 6 months, because it depends on the person's healing process, the act of letting go and releasing or getting over a grief. Like if someone is holding real depression or sadness from a very tragic incident, it can take a long time to heal, and you really have to go through that healing process, and it will depend on however long that person takes to heal. So it's not going to be tomorrow, it's not going to be like in a minute, especially after I do like a blessing or a spell work ritual on them. Is these tools is just to assist and to help the healing process along the way. So expecting a healer to really do an instant healing, that's all fiction. It's hocus pocus, you know what I mean? And real psychics, healers, gurus, seers, out there, they understand law of attraction and also time. So this is another question that I'm like, I kind of get. So the other part of the question that I kind of get a little bit uncomfortable answering when asked is if I can predict the future. And my answer is going to be no. Don't. Psychics, psychic readers, healers, we don't cover what's going to happen a year, from now or ahead of you. That's what we don't do. So I don't do future readings. I don't like, doing psychic readings about future predictions, because, the way that I was taught, both the Wiccan and the Toltec way, is we were taught to live in the moment and to take on a task, on a day-to-day basis, which is whatever it is that we are going through, whether it is an issue, problem, or whatever it is that the obstacles that's ahead of us, it's taken on a daily basis. So, I don't know who you can go to go get a future prediction reading thingy. I've never really met anyone in person besides those who claim that they can do future predictions or readings. So, but I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to let you know that I cannot predict the future. And that's my sense of humility. But a lot of people think that, oh, you do energy work and you have intuitive senses. Well, guess what? Anyone can do this. It's really, you're just not using, a full-on power of your brain, because that's where all this is also coming from, is inside. Both the cognitive, being able to open up your third eye, your ida and pineal. This is called the God consciousness, or your higher mind, or whatever it is that's labeled out there. But this is what it is. And but even then, like I said, if I somehow, predict a future event or a prediction or whatever, it's just second guessing. It's a psychic guess, I guess, So I really don't know what to say on this question, but my honest answer is no, I cannot predict the future. I don't think anyone really can. So the final question that I'm often asked is, how do we remove negativity in our lives? And also it has to do with removing negative energies. So, as a person who has walked the path of dealing with energies and also clearing karmic cycles and clearing negative energies and trying to constantly keep grounded and keep balance and stability and so forth, what really needs to happen is that the change needs to come in order for someone to remove negativity in their life. Because without change, it's going to be a stagnant situation, isn't it? Nothing's going to get better, right? So the person needs to be the one to make the change and learn basically what it was from before that did not work. And people like me will just guide along the way to speed up the process, but that person needs to put out the energy work, and the mental work, physical, spirit, and so forth, to be able to achieve that, whatever it is that they want to remove, negativity in their life, energy, and so forth. But in order for them to do that, they need to accept that change, or it will not work. Most often than not, I get blamed or I get accused of an outcome. If I do spell work or a blessing or a cleansing, I've had people come to me and be like, oh, well, it didn't work. I'm like, what didn't work? So people really need to understand, once again, all this stuff, like, if you come into my home and you see my altar and you see all my mystical tools and crystals and the stuff that I do this to stay grounded. I do this to remember that, life is going to be a mystery. It always will be. But if I want to fully understand myself, most of all, this is what I do to stay grounded here on this earth. And if people don't understand it, then my mission is not to make them understand. My mission is only to help people who want to understand. You know what I mean? So basically, that's just my disclaimer about all that. But those are the most asked common questions I encounter and I face, and I just want to make that clear about all the work that I've done. When I went to go to Almin's spiritual retreat in Newport, Oregon, I've had the experience of working with, a teacher and, basically learning the way and finding my own way. And basically whatever works for that person, go for it. But if it doesn't, find another way. Life is about exploration, and there's always limitless possibilities.